A lot of people put off starting a garden because they assume it's just way too much work. But the truth is, in the garden at any given time, you're only doing one of three tasks: planting, tending, or harvesting. And I worked out a system to keep a garden like this growing in just 5 minutes a day. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple tasks you can do every single day that only take about 1 minute so that you can see how the garden can fit into your life no matter how busy you happen to be. Start the day with an early morning harvest. This can be right when you wake up. It can be when you come back in from driving carpool, or you're coming back in from a morning walk, or just a midday break. But harvesting in the morning is the best time to cut from your plants. They've had time overnight to pull up moisture and sugars from the soil. They're at their sweetest, they're crispest, they're at their best early in the morning, so you want to go cut some. I love to connect my breakfast to my early morning harvest so that I'm motivated. Even if I'm busy, even if I've got a lot to do, I can always still make time to run outside. Don't run with scissors, walk with your pruners. To walk outside slowly holding these pruners, cut myself in just a minute enough greens to go in and make some breakfast. So let me show you what I cut this morning for my omelet. So I started out with some parsley. Parsley is, believe it or not, an incredible source of vitamin C. And I love adding it to my omelet. It gives it so much flavor. You can also make all kinds of chimichurris and sauces with fresh parsley. So I always grab that. The more you cut, the more it grows. I grab a little bit of thyme. This is a perennial herb. It's going to grow all year long. And I cut this to make some dressing and maybe to put into some salad for lunch. Next up, I'm going to grab 1 Swiss chard stem for my breakfast. I love this because the stems are crispy. You can chop them up like celery, and the leaves are so delicious in an omelet. Continuing on, I'm going to cut a broccoli leaf. So I'm still letting my broccoli produce, but I love putting broccoli leaves in my omelets. It gives me all of the nutrients that are in broccoli, but you don't have to wait for the crown. And let's see if there's anything else. I might grab a little bit of green onion. I have some onions growing in between my broccoli. So I'm just going to come in here and cut a few green onions. And now I'm ready to bring this in and make some breakfast. It took less than a minute. I grabbed at least 5 different vegetables I'm going to put into my breakfast. I'm going to get all the nutrients and the goodness. And it just took me 1 minute, and I'm ready to go make some food. Now, while you're out here in the morning and doing your quick harvest, you're just gonna do a quick water check. So this is a little tending check. You're gonna make sure that your soil is staying moist. You're gonna put your finger down to like that first little knuckle and be sure that the soil is not dry at that level. You can have your watering hose ready to go. You can have a little watering can, or if you've got an irrigation system ready to turn on, but don't water until you do the check. I love to just come out here, stick my finger in the soil as I'm grabbing my harvest for breakfast. And we've had a ton of rain here, so there is no need to water. But just do that check while you're out grabbing your food. And you can just turn on the irrigation, run the hose a little bit while you harvest your breakfast, and then go about your day knowing that your garden got taken care of and it's not getting dry. So midday, if you're working from home or you're at home on the weekend, or if you're back from work later in the day, this is a perfect time to head on into your garden for a second harvest. But here you're thinking less about what you're going to eat immediately and thinking more about keeping the garden cut for preserving. So at this point, it's less about harvesting something at its prime, being super sweet or super crisp, because you're going to be preserving it for later. So for instance, I've got some radishes here that I could just come and grab right in the middle of the day, bring into the kitchen and rinse out for pickling. I could also come and grab some of my perennial herbs, things like oregano or rosemary or sage. Cut some extra stems because I know I'm going to bring them in and store them and hang them to dry for winter. I could also find other things that I know I'm not going to eat immediately, but I don't want to go to waste. So anything like peas that are hanging on the vine or extra cauliflower, things that I can see that are going bad, I can just come out, do a quick grab, get them into the kitchen, cool them off so that I can start to use them later in the evening and store them for later use. So these little midday harvests, they don't have to be big, but they just slowly build your pantry 1 day at a time. This one day at a time idea is exactly what I talk about in my book, 5-Minute Gardener. If you haven't read it yet and you're into this idea of just gardening 5 minutes at a time, you can grab it right below this video. Next up at the end of the day, say after dinner, you've cleaned up from the meal, you're just gonna take one more little stroll through the garden. You're gonna bring some pruners, some twine, and a little package of seed. So first up, you're just gonna give a little bit of support to any plants that need it. So things like these sugar snap peas, when I see this tendril just hanging out here, I can just come alongside, get a little bit of twine and tie this pea up to the trellis. It only takes a few seconds to do, and it'll make all the difference in this pea continuing to grow and produce more or stopping growth altogether. So this is the supporting part of tending the garden, and just walk through and see if anything needs a stake or a little bit of twine, and make sure none of your plants are falling over. And then finally, be sure you've got one little pack of seed that's in your pocket. I love to carry bush beans or nasturtiums, maybe some zinnias, arugula, things that I know grow from seed to harvest in about 50 to 60 days. I love putting in the blank spaces. So you can just walk along, have a little bit of nasturtium stuck in your back pocket, and when you see an empty space, just grab that seed and tuck it into the garden space. I talk about this in my book, that your day as a 5-minute gardener is kind of the opposite of the way that the garden works. In the garden, you plant, tend, and then harvest. But in our daily activities, our 5-minute times in the garden, we harvest, tend, and then plant. Harvest in the morning, tend through the day, and then plant in the evening. And boom, you're done. 5 minutes in the garden, and wow, we've done so much. We've fed ourselves breakfast, we've stored some food for later, and we've even planted for next month's harvest, all in just 5 minutes a day. If you're into this sort of thing, of fitting the garden into your busy life because you know you need it and it's going to make you feel so good, and I hope you'll stick around because we've got lots more videos just like this. I'll see you next time.